like to start with John Philpin, who is with Squad based in Wodonga. He is a resident of the Rutherglen area, and I'll make him the host just now. Thanks so much for your input tonight, John.
No, pleasure, and I'm very happy to be here. So for those of you that are not 100% familiar with who Squad is, we're a registered group training organisation. Some people may have previously known us as ATEL. We've just celebrated 40 years up here, and as Sally said, we're based here in Wodonga. So what I want to talk about tonight, I'm not going to throw up any slides. I think a good conversation is probably what I'm best at doing. I'm going to talk about traineeships as a prime topic tonight, because we've all been involved with the last couple of years have been very tough, and finding suitable applicants for jobs has probably been a massive priority for a lot of businesses in all categories right throughout the Northeast region. So one of the projects, or some of the several projects we've been working on the last 6 to 7 months, is really focusing on showing business how to start growing their own staff through traineeships. Now, these traineeships can operate in most areas like hospitality, retail, business and admin, IT, health areas, including dental and medical, even transport, warehousing and logistics. These traineeships are designed to place people at any age. You don't have to be a year 10 or a year 12 leaver. I mean, we've had success just this week in placing some 50-year-old people into some full-time traineeships in the health sector. Traineeships that we talk about are full-time, fully immersed traineeships where the trainee is working a 38-hour week and they're getting paid. Some school leavers and other people go off and do some training to get their Certificate 3s at a TAFE or a registered training organisation, and then start to go out and look for work. Some of the benefits that an employer can do through a Grow Your Own campaign is when those trainees are embedded in your business, they get used to your culture, how you operate and what you expect of them, whilst they're getting paid at the same time. At the duration of the traineeship, Squad is very heavily involved in coaching and mentoring those people through to completion. And when the traineeship has been completed, there's full option for that employer to take over that trainee as a full-time member of staff. So as a group training organisation, for those that don't know, we lease trainees for the duration of the traineeship back to the business. And a lot of people say, John, well, what's it going to cost me? Well, to give you a classic example, if you were going to take a year 12 leaver, you'd be paying around $19 an hour to have that person employed through that traineeship for that duration. And these durations of traineeships can take between 6 months and 18 months, depending on what qualification it is. And even if you take on an adult trainee, it's going to cost you around about $28 an hour. Not a huge amount to pay, but just remember that those costs include all the on costs for an employer and also includes our fee. So not a huge amount to pay for a 12-month period. Completion subsidies, which are normal at the successful completion of a traineeship, are $2,500 the federal government pay. Squad don't keep any of that. That is passed back in full to the employer. So that's pretty much what we do as a group training organisation, and we're finding that a lot of businesses now, particularly in the health sector, are now turning to fully embedded traineeships for people of any age who have a requirement to want to achieve a certificate 2, 3 or 4, which is nationally accredited, so they can use that certificate here in Australia. But the hope for the local employers is to keep those people on full time for a longer term period. So that, look, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Squad's easily found. We're online through our websites, Instagram and Facebook. I look after industry engagement, so I spend a lot of time talking to businesses about these projects. Really easy to grasp and understand, and they have some great outcomes and some great benefits when you can put a trainee on full time. So if there's any particular questions about that, I'll be happy to answer them tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I wanted to talk about tonight, the Grow Your Own campaign through fully immersed full-time trainees.
Thanks so much, John. So have you got some, maybe a few case studies that might be relevant to the Indigo Shire that you could talk about?
Yeah, look, we've we've done some work in the healthcare sector in aged care and some of the hospitals locally, where we spoke to them about what were their pain points over the last 12 months. And everybody says it's about finding staff, it's about keeping staff and attracting the right staff people. Because one of the things that we'll also do as part of this program is we do the recruitment, shortlisting, interviews, aptitude testing if people want it. So we went to some of these people in the health sector and said, look, you know, this is an issue. Why don't we embark on a recruitment program where we try and attract people to start off with some certificate twos in particular, to give them immersion into that business so they could work across multiple areas of that business to try and determine, and these two start off as a 6-month program, where the healthcare provider and the employee can then start to determine what area within that organisation they might be attracted to or might want to continue on to do a Cert 3 or a Cert 4 or go beyond that, even to become a registered nurse. The biggest challenge that businesses have these days, particularly with trainees and apprentices, is that 40% of apprentices, particularly in New South Wales and Victoria, don't complete their apprenticeship because they get 3 or 6 months in and say, well, I didn't think it was going to be like this. It's not what I expected. So the job ready preparedness of these young people is not adequate for them going into some of these industries. So the traineeship for a short period of time allows someone to, you know, have a bit of a taste test before they embark on a further lengthy period. And traineeship's a great way to do it. We have a lot of gap year kids do it. And we've had some gap year students that have decided not to go on to university, complete a certificate 3 in that gap year, go on and do certificate 4s and diplomas, and they can possibly go on to university later, but they can start earning pay in a full-time arrangement from day one.
Excellent. And also, John, I don't think I missed you mentioning the Boosting Apprenticeship Commencement Scheme. If you could just explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I suppose we've got to be mindful we're running out a little bit of time. The BAC is still valid for all traineeship positions in Cert 2s, 3s and 4s, and also full-time apprenticeships. And that finishes on the 31st of March. So that's 50% is paid back from the federal government, which comes through us, which is paid back in full at the end of each quarter. And that is based on the trainee or apprentice's gross weekly wage. All right. Those percentages drop down to 20 and 5%, you know, second and third year. So they've been reduced. But, you know, we're hoping that the budget's coming out soon. So we're hoping to see some further advancement probably in those subsidies in commencing that support program. It's worked exceptionally well. We're probably seeing more people trying to recruit now. They're all leaving it to the last minute to make sure that they can get the first 12 months in. So the huge benefit of that is that trainees' wages are not huge, and we've been, as part of the project plan with some of the businesses we've talking to, we've told them because the traineeship goes for 12 months, we've actually indicated that if you're going to get a 50% wage subsidy, why don't you, up a year 12 leaver's wage from $11.98 maybe to $13 or $15 to make it more attractive for them to come in and start that stuff. And a lot of employers have done that. So there's some benefits and advantages of how to use this BAC to your advantage.
Excellent. And I believe that program has a completion aspect as well.
Well, as long as you sign up a trainee or apprentice by the 31st of March, that for the next 12 months upon that sign up, yes, it'll run. So basically, if you don't get in before the 31st of March, there's zero, other than the commencement subsidies, which are around about $1,500, and then completion subsidies, which are $2,500. So the bulk of the subsidies disappears on the 31st of March from the BAC's point of view.
Okay, well, thanks very much, John. I'm happy to take any questions and put them through to you. But I guess the best thing, once again, is any interested employers, just a good idea for them to make contact with Squad Wodonga. I presume you do work at the Wodonga office.
I certainly do. I'm there most days, and I get out and about wherever I can, and happy to have conversations with anybody and to give them some examples and costings on how you can use this system.
Excellent, John. Thank you very much.